Have you ever noticed that there are people who seem to have discovered a secret code to life? While most struggle to stay focused, they wake up inspired, execute with purpose, and end the day peacefully. It's not luck, it's method. They follow simple yet powerful practices, the kind of discipline that transforms chaos into clarity and desire into results. And today, I'll show you the 15 practices that the world's greatest achievers apply every day, even when no one is looking. But first, let me warn you something. This video, it's not about fleeting motivation, is about real transformation. So if you want to build an unshakable mindset and consistent results, do the following now. Like the video, because this shows the algorithm that you want this type of content, and subscribe to the channel to continue receiving practical tools for self-mastery, mindset, and prosperity. Here, we're not talking about luck. We're talking about strategy. Now sit tight, take a deep breath, because what comes next could completely change the way you begin and end each day of your life. Wake up before the world. Waking up before the world is more than just getting up early. It is a silent agreement with oneself. Daily discipline. When the city is still yawning, you already have a half-hour head start on the emergency room. This little ritual reminds you of defined purpose and calms the rush that steals clarity. No audience, no applause, just you and the next step. That's how successful habits begin. Discreet, but decisive. In the early days, don't aim for heroism. Aim for consistent action. 5 minutes of stretching, 10 of reading, 15 of simple writing. There you go. Dawn has won. If you like references, alternate between Think and Grow Rich and a chapter of Atomic Habits. No perfection, just a commitment to showing up for yourself. That commitment calls for absolute focus, and focus calls for results. A practical example? Put your phone away from your bed and activate a dawn mode. Water, 4-4-4-4 box. Breathing, natural light. Then open your notepad with 3 prompts. What matters today? What do I avoid? How do I gain 1%? If your mind wanders, set a 10-minute timer and just get started. No drama. The mood? If the coffee doesn't wake you up, the goal will wake up. Haida. It's interesting how this simple adjustment sets the stage for the next pillar, which isn't about time, it's about direction. Set clear intentions for the day. The defined purpose isn't a pretty idea written on a board, it's a daily guide. Before coffee, ask yourself, what would really change my day if I did it today? No mile-long lists, just 3 powerful intentions, simple and concrete. They fit on a post-it, but they move mountains when there is absolute focus. Because clarity is not a luxury. It is survival in times of distraction. Most people wake up and dive into digital chaos, trying to solve the world before taking care of their own territory. Not you. First, write down your 3 goals, then check your phone. One might be mental, meditate for 10 minutes, another professional, finish a project, and the third personal, call someone important. These micro-victories, practiced with daily discipline, add up to more than a poorly executed 10-year plan. This is designing the day before the day swallows me. When you forget to set intentions, you'll feel the day pushing you, not guiding you. So create a ritual. Calming music, a notebook, and the question, what brings me closer to my best today? It's amazing how writing it down aligns your mind and reduces anxiety. The simple act of deciding what matters filters out the noise and ignites the absolute focus. And this clarity is what prepares you for the next step, moving your body and transforming energy into action. Condition the body, strengthen the mind. There is no millionaire mind inside a tired body. When you move your body, it unlocks mental energy. It's almost alchemy. You don't need an expensive gym or selfies on the treadmill, just consistent action. 20 minutes is enough to remind the brain who's in charge. Because physical movement is the fastest language the mind understands. I'm alive, I'm ready. On days when your body complains, smile and say, "It's the price of progress." Choose the simple things, jumping jacks, planks, light jogging, and practice with daily discipline. With each drop of sweat, you feel the internal noise, silence. It's the same principle Napoleon Hill advocated. Absolute focus. It arises from the order between mind and body. When you take care of the temple begins to take care of your ideas. And the curious thing is that after training, decisions seem easier. Doubt disappears, clarity arrives, and the day flows as if the universe rewards the effort. He often says that training is like calibrating an instrument before a show. Simple, but essential. And perhaps that's why the next step isn't physical, but strategic, protecting the mind from distractions in the early hours. Because what you do after mental training determines whether the energy will be used or wasted. Control the first digital time. Napoleon Hill. He realized that the way he starts his day sets the tone for everything else. Opening his phone in the first few minutes is like opening the doors of his mind to chaos. Notifications, comparisons, and other people's urgencies drain him. Absolute focus, even before coffee. So create a non-negotiable rule for yourself. First digital hour, it's sacred territory. No social media, emails, or news. Just silence and direction. During this time, choose what will feed your mind. It could be reading, writing, prayer, or simple conscious breathing. It's the moment when it aligns with itself. Defined purpose, not the world's. When you feel like reaching for your phone, remember, those who react too quickly live on other people's agendas. And that's the opposite of daily discipline that builds leaders. While some wake up scrolling through their feed, destiny is scrolling. Because true power lies in resisting the urge and directing your attention. This choice seems small, but it changes everything. Productivity, mood, clarity. After all, whoever dominates the morning dominates the day, and whoever dominates the day dominates life. But to sustain this energy, you need to nourish your mind with greatness. And that's exactly where the next step begins. Feed the mind with greatness. Napoleon Hill. He understood that his mind is like a garden. What he plants flourishes, what he ignores rots. So he began to carefully choose what he consumes every day. Trading headlines for books, gossip for ideas, noise for wisdom became part of his daily discipline. Reading 10 pages of a good book is the fuel that keeps the flame of defined purpose. Because a mind fed with greatness no longer accepts the trivial. In the first few months he noticed something curious. The more he read, the less irritable he became. His anger diminished, his focus increased, and his self-confidence grew. He began listening to audio recordings of Napoleon Hill, Jim Rohn, and Bob Proctor on his commute to work. These voices reminded him that success is a matter of consistent action and a refined mindset. The body responds to training, but the mind responds to the content that nourishes it. He often says that the brain is like a sponge. It will absorb whatever it takes, so choose what will moisten your soul. And that's why, every morning, he makes a point of fueling himself with ideas that uplift him. This practice creates a kind of shield against pessimism and fear. Those who feed on greatness begin to think big, act big, and live big. But there's a secret that takes this power even further. The art of envisioning the future before it happens. Visualize with intention. Feel with clarity. Napoleon Hill discovered that visualizing isn't daydreaming. It's training your brain to recognize the future before it arrives. Every day, take a few minutes to close your eyes and see yourself living the result of your defined purpose. Not only does he imagine, he feel. Feel the air, the sound, the silent pride of those who have achieved what once seemed distant. It is the most powerful practice of Millionaire Mind, because it transforms faith into frequency. And the brain, naive as it is, begins to work to make real what it believes to be familiar. In the early days, it seemed strange, even silly. But the more emotionally involved he became with the scene, the more correct decisions he made. He began to behave like someone who had already won: posture, speech, energy. And as if by magic, or cause and effect, opportunities began to appear. Not because the universe conspired, but because absolute focus aligns the choices. Want to try? Choose a clear goal and create a vivid image of it. Close your eyes and ask, how do I act when this is already true? Feeling is the key. It's the rehearsal for the future. Repeat this ritual every day, even for 5 minutes, and watch your confidence recalibrate. And it's precisely in this energy of clarity that the next step emerges, transforming feeling into writing and emotion into words. Write to strengthen your identity. Napoleon Hill realized that writing is a way of talking to one's own soul. When you put thoughts on paper, you transform the abstract into concrete, chaos into absolute focus. It doesn't have to be a detailed journal. A few honest lines are enough. You can write down what you've learned, what you desire, or who you've decided to be today. This simple act has become part of your daily discipline, a mirror that reflects evolution. He has a specific notebook called Building the Millionaire Mind. There he writes down affirmations like, I am constant. I create opportunities. I live with purpose. These phrases, repeated and reread, shape identity and replace internal noise. Writing is the practice of consistent action. The more he writes, the more he believes. And the more he believes, the more he acts on what he's written. A simple example: every Sunday, he reviews his week's notes and highlights patterns. Repeated words reveal what his mind is trying to say. Sometimes, what's missing isn't motivation, but clarity about what's being constructed. Therefore, writing is the act of solidifying thoughts and giving form to the invisible. And it's in this state of presence and attention that he learns the next secret: living each task with his whole mind. Practice presence in everything you do. Napoleon Hill realized that multitasking isn't productivity. It's self-sabotage in disguise. A divided mind becomes weak, scattered, and anxious. So he decided to adopt what he calls radical presence, being fully present in every act, no matter how small. If you're reading, just read. If you're eating, just eat. This is the true daily discipline, which trains the present as if it were a muscle. At first, it was a challenge. While working, his thoughts would wander to the future. While resting, they would return to the tasks at hand. So he created visual reminders, phrases stuck on his monitor. Come back here. One step at a time. These pauses reconnected him to absolute focus, and little by little anxiety gave way to clarity. The secret isn't controlling time, it's controlling attention. He discovered that presence is the opposite of haste, and that whoever masters the present masters the outcome. In conversations, he began to truly listen. In tasks, he began to deliver his best. It's amazing how things flow when you're truly there. And precisely in this depth is born the power to silence the mind, because the next step is learning to control the inner voice that dictates the course of life. Control your internal dialogue. Napoleon Hill. He understood that the mind is like a radio. If you don't choose the station, the noise chooses it for you. And almost always, that frequency is one of self-criticism, doubt, and fear. So he began practicing the art of mastering his own internal dialogue. Every time a sabotaging thought arose, he would pause and replace it. Instead of saying, I can't, he would say, I'm learning. This simple change changed everything. In the early days, it seemed like idle chatter, until he realized that his words shaped his actions. When he said, I'm disciplined, he automatically behaved accordingly. It was as if defined purpose installed from the inside out. He turned the bathroom mirror into a reminder of power, pasted phrases that reinforced his millionaire mind. The brain, by repeating the positive, began to accept the new pattern as truth. An exercise he still does today, writing down the 3 most common negative phrases and rewriting them constructively. This trained him to recognize the exact moment when the mind tries to sabotage progress. It's a constant but liberating process. Because when you master what you say to yourself, no one else controls your rhythm. And this mental mastery is what makes room for the next step: eliminating the external distractions that sabotage internal progress. Eliminate structural distractions. Napoleon Hill realized that most of his fatigue came not from work, but from too many invisible distractions. Notifications, noise, visual clutter, little interruptions that diluted the absolute focus. So he decided to transform the environment into an ally of daily discipline: a clean desk, a cell phone away, few icons on the screen, and set times to check messages. The result? Mental clarity and energy redirected to what really matters. He started applying a simple rule: everything that gets in the way gets out of sight. It's almost mental minimalism. If something doesn't contribute, it's removed. He created time blocks with the Pomodoro method and an instrumental playlist to help him focus. At first it seemed small, but within a few days, his performance doubled. The mind appreciates it when the body inhabits a space that breathes order. Now every corner of the house reflects his defined purpose. The environment stopped being a field of distractions and became a visual reminder of what was being built. And the most curious thing, by organizing the space, he organized his own mind. But amidst so much noise and exposure, he learned that there is another kind of power, that which lies in silence. And it is about this silent power that the next step reveals one of the rarest practices among the great. Cultivate strategic silence. Napoleon Hill realized that the world is addicted to talking. Everyone wants to show what they do, prove what they know, announce what they haven't even started yet. But those who really build know the value of strategic silence. He learned to keep projects, ideas, and plans until they were ready to blossom. Because silence, when intentional, is the armor of millionaire mind. At first, he felt like telling everyone about his goals. He sought validation, approval, and applause. But he realized that the more he talked, the more energy he was wasting explaining what he was still creating. So he adopted a new rule: talk less, act more. This change made him selective, focused, and in control of his own life. Absolute focus today, he prefers to let the results speak for him. When someone asks what he's been doing, he smiles and replies, "Planting." It's in this pause that strength grows, because silence isn't the absence of sound. It's the presence of purpose. And this self-control has taken him to another level of awareness, the ability to reflect on what really works. After all, there's no point in acting without understanding the results of one's own journey. Reflect daily on what is working. Napoleon Hill learned that true evolution comes not just from acting, but from understand the impact of actions. So at the end of each day, take a brief pause. A meeting with yourself. Ask yourself, what went well today? What can I improve tomorrow? These simple questions are compasses for defined purpose, adjusting the route before the detour becomes too far. It's habit that turns experience into wisdom. At first, he thought it was a waste of time to stop and think. But by writing down what worked, he noticed patterns. More productive hours, repeated distractions, energy-draining behaviors. This conscious observation made him grow more in a month than he would have in years on autopilot. Reflecting became part of daily discipline, not as criticism, but as strategy. Because success isn't born from trying harder, but from trying better. Now he ends the day with a small ritual: dim lights, silence, an open notebook. He writes down 3 victories, 1 lesson learned, and 1 improvement for the next day. This simple practice reinforces his sense of direction and fuels his millionaire mind with clarity. And when you close the notebook, you feel peace, because you know you're evolving consciously. And it's from this peace that the natural desire to serve, to transform your own growth into contribution, is born. Serve with intention. He understood that there is no lasting success without genuine contribution. Serving with intention is not about nullifying yourself. It is about recognizing that every millionaire mind thrives when helping others grow. So he began incorporating truly helpful gestures into his day. A message of encouragement, a sincere piece of advice, a favor without return. These small actions shape character and expand purpose, because those who serve, without realizing it, multiply their own value. At first, he thought he needed grand gestures, but he realized that power lies in consistency, not size. A simple, "How are you?" can rekindle hope in someone. And this gesture, repeated, creates an invisible cycle of emotional prosperity. The act of service strengthens the defined purpose because it connects you to something greater than yourself. He calls this strategic generosity, giving a piece of yourself, time, attention, or wisdom. It's not emotional charity, it's shared self-care. And interestingly, the more he served, the more doors naturally opened. It was as if the universe rewarded disciplined altruism with opportunities aligned. And it's in this state of coherence and honor that the next step arises, keeping one's word, even when no one is looking. Honor small commitments. Napoleon Hill realized that failure rarely happens all at once. It begins when we fail to keep the promises we make to ourselves. Waking up on time, reading the 10 pages, completing the simple task. These are small but sacred commitments. Every time he fulfills one, he reinforces his daily discipline and builds the identity of someone trustworthy. Because character is not born of great deeds, but of small decisions consistently sustained. And this is the silent foundation of all Millionaire Mind in the early days. He treated these commitments as details. Today, he treats them as rituals. He writes them down, fulfills them, and checks them off. This simple gesture activates a feeling of progress and self-confidence. He's learned that the brain loves small victories. They're what fuel the absolute focus. And with each small promise kept, the mind understands. I can trust myself. When it feels like giving up, it repeats a phrase. I'm not training for results, I'm training for character. This mindset keeps it going even when motivation wanes. Because in the end, those who keep their promises to themselves already live on another level of integrity. And it is with this solid foundation that they prepare for the final step, uniting vision and execution, learning to dream big while still acting in the present. Look long-term, act short-term. He discovered that the secret to achievement lies in the balance between vision and execution. Dreaming big is important, but living lost in fantasy is dangerous. So he began practicing what he calls pragmatic vision, thinking clearly about the future and acting decisively in the present. Every morning, he reviews his long-term goal and asks, "What concrete step can I take today?" This question guides his consistent action and keeps the defined purpose. At first, he oscillated between anxiety and complacency. He wanted immediate results, but forgot that progress is made in steps. Today, he understands that each daily action is a seed of what is to come. And the curious thing is that when he focuses on the present, the future begins to align itself. Millionaire Mind doesn't rush time. It uses it wisely. One example he applies. He reviews goals quarterly, but adjusts routines weekly. This way, he keeps his eye on the horizon without stumbling along the way. This method protects him from rushing and perfectionism, maintaining absolute focus in what really moves the needle. Because, in the end, Those who act small every day inevitably build big. And it is precisely here that the cycle of practices closes, opening space for true transformation, that of living what one has learned. Now that you know these 15 practices, the question is, how many of them will you actually apply? Because the difference between those who change their lives and those who just consume content is the daily action. You can continue living on autopilot, waiting for the perfect moment. Or you can decide that, today, it's the first day of your new mindset, one that builds wealth from the inside out. What you do in the next few minutes will determine which of the two versions of you will win. So here's the challenge. Choose just a practice and apply it in the next 24 hours. Just one. And if you want to go further, dive deeper into this process and turn discipline into real results, I've prepared something special for you. The eBook, 30 Days to a Millionaire Mindset. Inside, you'll find a daily mental reprogramming plan, focus exercises, and practical action strategies to expand your mindset and financial potential. The link is in the description and also in the pinned comment. Download it now, because the best investment you can make is in yourself. If this video resonated with you, like it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Here you'll learn every week how to master your mind, multiply results, and live with purpose. After all, as Napoleon Hill said, "What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Now it's your turn to believe and act.